Hello, everybody. Can you all hear me? Can you all see me? All right. So, how about all that? How about all of that? There, now we can see the eye in the background. All right, this music's a little intense here. Let's just calm down. I was kind of hoping for something a little bit more chill. Yeah, something like that. There we go. Nice, nice rail jacky. Oh, wowzers. Did I see the lotus with the eyes in the demo? Did I see the lotus with the eyes in the demo? Boop. Now, did you see? Boop, boop. Yeah, that's actually marvelous. I'm going to tell you something, everybody. First of all, I just want to say that this image is it's a little disturbing. So it probably is a good idea. I mean, everybody here loves it, obviously, but when you sit there and actually have it pasted up on your screen, especially the way it's looking at me right now, and it's been like for lights, it's. But yeah, so just kind of a quickie. Like, I'm gonna, damn man. I'm curious as to how the operator was able to just burn out the eyes and seem to leave everything else relatively in place, especially given what happened to Colleen. Oh, Coat, you ain't kidding. These one in a million. I've said that countless times, and I will say it again. I don't think a lot of people know exactly what they. Wow, okay, I wasn't expecting this to get so hard too. Damn, calm down. Well, let's just do this for a second. Um, you know, DE's a dying breed. You're not going to see too many of these companies anymore, where it started out as an independent company and was able to make enough of an impact with the game on its own that when they were, you know, enveloped into another situation, they were able to retain enough of their autonomy to be able to continue to make the game that they wanted to make versus what others wanted them to make. And I really do think if you look at some other games out there right now, I imagine that a lot of game devs really they fight this hard because they're probably gamers themselves, but at the same time, they have bullet points of things that they need to include based upon contracts that they've had to sign, for investment purposes and whatnot. And, I just think that, wow, that we're witnessing and we are privy to one of the last bastions of this being available, unless the industry and unless really like a lot of things change. It's not just our industry, it's everything. Let me say, first of all, hello to everybody who's here today. Thank you for being here. I gotta say that I was not completely on the, let's say, on total board with the Tau thing, just because I didn't really understand how it intersected in the story at the moment. So let me say that this is some of the most, with the introduction of Tau, this is some of the most delicious crow I've ever tasted. It's actually not so bad. Yeah, I was wrong. I was definitely wrong on that one. But hey, when you're wrong and it works out in your favor, because it looks like we're getting some really awesome stuff. That's how you want to be wrong. If you have to be wrong, that's what you want, right? Yeah. So I want to say to everybody, uh, I actually need to tell you because I think a lot of people probably are under the impression that I was at Tennocon. I was not at Tennocon, unfortunately. I did have plans to go, and I bought my ticket and everything. But um, to put it lightly, we've been having some issues on the home front here. I don't want to get into too many. Oh, Lee, thank you for the gifted membership. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Lee Brunton. Thank you. Yeah, we've been dealing with some things on the home front here. Um, some medical things, not me, luckily, but it's kind of taken my time away, my attention away from the channel and stuff here, and I do apologize for that. Um, I will be getting back into kind of the swing of things again, but it also forced me to stay home for Tennocon, which kind of sucked. But at the same time, it is what it is. Hopefully next year, things hopefully will have cleared up a little bit, and we'll be kind of through this, and um, I'll have the opportunity to actually go. So, like I said, I do very much apologize. I know that I had told a lot of people that I was going to be there. So if you were expecting to see me there, that's on me. I know I've been kind of absent, like I said, on the channel and whatnot. It's just I've had a lot of things going on the personal end of it. So that is the reason for my disappearance. But at this point, I think we're not I mean we're not any out of the water, but at least I'm back here and I can kind of start getting back to doing this again too. So, oh well, thank you everybody. Thanks you. I appreciate that. I'm hoping the same. I really am. It's one of those things that. Hello. Hey Aston, how are you? Yeah, just like I said, I do apologize, but it's how it is. It's how it is. You got the ups and you got the downs, and you work your way through both. So let's get to the lore skis, if you will, right? Well, I want to apologize because for anybody that was expecting, to see me or anything like that, like I said, that might have been a little disappointing. I don't know why. I don't find myself that interesting. But if you do, like I said, I owe you an apology. So I'm sorry. But hey, thank you for Mike Caliban. I was so excited. So I have put together. I don't know if anybody saw, but I put a thing out on Twitter, and people just bombarded my Twitter with absolute theories, and it was amazing, right? And so I actually spent a large percentage Um, oh, Golden Duplicator, thank you for the $10. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. It's all good though. Like I said, we're gonna be just fine. And I don't want anybody to worry about it. Like, please, we're gonna be just fine here. But I'm way behind too. Just so you all know, like I'm way behind. I have a video for Weaver that's essentially finished as far as the script and a lot of the recording for it and everything. But just so you know, I was also able to, when I got home, I was listening and looking and all these different theories, and I was looking and reading and stuff, and I went and played an Archon hunt last night, and I was going over some of my Archon footage from the past, and I think, okay, so I think I've come up with a timeline with one exception, and it's actually the one part of Warframe lore that to this day still causes a significant level of confusion for myself. Okay. And that is what happened after the children of the Zerman came back, because this is where there's a bit of confusion. If I go to the Rhino Prime codex, this is going to be a lot of lore today and everything, everybody. I don't know how much gameplay I'm going to be getting in, but I just kind of wanted to go over my thought process for the video. I love doing this with you all because this way I get to bounce some of the ideas of my video off on you here before I put it out, and then if a couple of you say, oh hey, by the way, that thing that you're going to put in, that's dumb as hell because of this, I can be like, oh shit, you're right. That is. I'm just going to remove that right out of the script. So anyway, we're going to go to Rhino Prime and we're going to read. So there's this thing, right? All right. Okay, wait. That might the music might be a little too epic for for what's going on. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the music down just a tad for right now. Yeah, and then we're going to go here and we're gonna do a little bit of reading, because I know most of you know this, but some of you probably don't, especially the implications. There's something like this: red lights flashing on stark white walls. Davis is running ahead of me, dropping his notes. Running for our lives. The fear gives me a strange perspective. I'm out of my body. I've forgotten how I got here. Donald S., thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I apologize for getting out of the thing here, but wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you so much. I've forgotten how I got here. I don't recognize this place. Davis and I slam pinned against a cell door, and he shouts at me. I give him a dumb look. I can't hear him, the sirens, anything, only the muffled throb of terror in my head. I turn away from Davis down the hall, and I see it. The hulking mass, flickering red, glinting like steel and fresh blood. Its skin changes, flowing like mercury when I'm blinded by the sudden muzzle flashes. They do no good. The beast surges forward, and the security men become crimson mist and gore. I'm a statue, a cornered animal. A gate opens inside me, and recognition floods in. I've seen this monster before. I've cut its shell and eviscerated its brothers. I've given it pain and measured its response. I've crafted and rejected countless like it. But I've never seen this beast so close without the shield. Without restraints. I've never seen it free. I know I will die, so I just watch with curious acceptance. The beast squats down, shoveling a heap of gore into its mouth. It's watching me with vague eyes, a sense of recognition, ancestral memory. It knows who I am and what I've done. It rears up like a bear and roars, shattering the lights and casting us into darkness. I can hear it lumbering toward me, its metal fingers rending the walls. But I know I am dead. I close my eyes and stand ready to pay. I feel the pull in my arm and realize Davis got the cell open. He tongues me into a cell beyond, and I fall on my back. I see Davis standing at the open door, waiting as the monster tears toward us. Suddenly, I could live through this, so I shout, "Davis, close the goddamn door!" But he shakes his head, his eyes wide as moons. He shouts, "Watch," over the roaring and rending of metal. Then silence. Davis is panting, laughing. "Herder, thank you for the 25. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much." The beast fills the doorway, inches from him, dripping in blood, but still without violence. It stands there, looking at its hands. Davis whispers, "No one would have believed me." I crawl up the wall to stand opposite the door. I've never seen this cell, a cold place with an array of shelves, a morgue. Where are we, Davis? This is where they keep them, the ones from the Zeraman. I'm thrown. What was the Zeraman? The ship that never returned? Davis, what's going on? Davis turns to me, a smile forming. What's going on is, he turns back to the beast, now silent and calm. Big, fat promotions. Oh, you like that voice? That's just, I don't have a voice changer or anything. Okay, it's just, I'm old, and I'm old, and I did see the big ass sword cutting the cannon in two. I am curious as to how frequently we're going to use that in game. Like, we're just going to like finish a mission with that move. Anyway, moving forward, here is okay. This is the one aspect of the thing that's giving me problems. There is this concept of the Tenno children that in one aspect we have been shown that they, after returning from the Zeraman, needed to be put into the cryopods or the transference pods in order for them to essentially not be detriments to everything around them. They've mauled multiple Grineer, and I should say Orcan soldiers. I'm not sure if they were Grineer or not, including Colleen, and we also know for a fact Margulis. So this Rhino Prime codex entry infers that the Tenno children were kept in a place. And it implies a restriction of sorts. Because these people don't seem to know, and they're Warframe technicians, or engineers or scientists in some way, because he even talks about the fact that he's actually helped craft them. So, be it off of Ballas's blueprints, or maybe this one dude was actually helped Ballas design a frame or whatever. That's not 100% certain, but what I'm saying is it's been largely insinuated here also in the second dream that the Tenno weren't ever seen outside of the cryopods. Rather, they would show up in the warframes themselves. And people never realized, in fact, there are countless stories of people in the lore mistaking the Warframe for a Tenno, essentially thinking that the Warframe was the Tenno themselves, where in fact there was a Tenno in them, and even in situations like what a lot of people think, well, Golden Doomslayer, why not? If you can function in a Warframe, you can do all that stuff without. You could learn martial arts in a Warframe. You could. It would be no different. Can I be honest with you? It would be no different than Neo learning stuff as an avatar in the Matrix. Because that's really what the Warframes are for the Tenno. They're avatars. They're forms that they can utilize. There and there's many avatars that the Tenno have. Like, not only can we take on the form of the Warframe, we can take on the form of the Necromech. We can take on the form of the Aura Worm. We can essentially, possess, if you will. But the idea of them learning in doing schools and everything else like that does not require the children to have ever left the cryopods, especially with them being as dangerous as they were. Yeah, but he can't teach from the pod because no one else can get in the somatic. We know that in the present day of Warframe, the general public, so to speak. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's the one aspect of the timeline that I've put together that does not fit. Okay, and the problem is I cannot make a timeline where that fits unless the Lotus is actually showing us eternalistic strands of Kra, potential possibilities, which has been a theme in Warframe for a while now with this possibilities thing. Even with them recently uncovering the meaning of the word Ul, the Void Tongue word Ul, as possibility, right? Oh, and make sure everybody that has their own thoughts and opinions, like if I don't want to sway you. You keep believing what you believe because, as we've seen, I've been wrong before. Like I said, I'm just trying to make everything work based upon what we already have. And that's the one thing that's kind of messing with me, because other than that, what we essentially have is the Zariman attempts a void jump to Tau. It fails, but in the process, when it returns, the Tenno children are recovered. They are, after a few different incidents, they are, essentially put into these cryopods, wherever they're, wherever this is being referred to in this codex thing. And right around the same time is when the Warframes were already being developed. So one would assume, and again, one would assume, I'm thinking that the sentient war, so that the Zariman left, the sentients then themselves go to Tau after the fact, which makes actually a lot of sense because there's a lot of inferences, especially in America, Cephalon Melika on the Zariman, where she says, like, we had like a 99.9% success on that last jump. What would you do to make it 100? Like, it's very possible that, that the either through the building of the solar because there's no real timeline established from when the void jump went wrong to when the Zariman showed back up again, right? Yeah, my movement, they love it, Is the Tau we see in the demo eternalism Tau or real Tau? Well, Code, I don't want to say anything. All I know is I'm going to put it this way. Albert Dentrati responded to me on Twitter. And even he asked that same question. So I'll leave everything to that. How about that? The Albert Dentronic. So we're keeping the misdirection going, right? Now I'm gonna have a video. I'm gonna have one. Don't worry. I have been working, even though I wasn't able to get on and do the things that I wanted to do. I've still been my Warframe brain's been going. I've been having trouble sleeping because I've been thinking about Warframe stuff as I'm trying to sleep, and I can't sleep because of it. This is a really exciting time, and I've been writing a lot, and so I got 2 big scripts for you. Like I said, I got to find the time to put everything together. And again, one more time, I do apologize for that because I feel bad. Stefan Rudnicki is a champion and a legend, both together. Want to play YouTuber? What? I don't know that. Aston, we're like a demon that possesses bodies. We really are. You know what? You know what's funny, Aston? If you go back to, I can't remember which Tennocon it was, but it was the same one that showed. It might have been for the New War, the one that preceded the New War. But there are some like big. You know what we should do while we're here? Instead of making you all just sit here and look at nothing, we'll get a soul. There is a section of images that was put out, on the relay, and one of them kind of showed. Oh, I love this song. Showed. I don't know if this is what it's supposed to be when the Tenno actually utilize the Warframes, but there's or it just could be symbolic. I don't know, but there's this thing where it shows Umbra, I think, and in front of or and behind him, the operator is literally hovering with this void energy connection between the two of them, and it looks like the operator is literally possessing the Umbra. Oh yeah, I definitely got it. For those that maybe perhaps didn't, did everybody get the Noggle? I'll show you where it is. Now I'm going to tell you something too, just so you know. There is I don't think I can use my operator here either. There is a issue apparently that it wasn't showing for everybody. It'd be right here. So the first time I came here, I was here and I didn't see it. So I came back a second time. I'm glad they left it open. How about that triad, huh? Are we sure? Let's see. Are we sure the operator we're playing as is the real one? Jennifer Fowl. I don't know. And that's something to remember too, everybody, that there's a very good chance that, you know how the trailers change from the actual quest. We've seen it a bunch of times now. Like last year was specifically the trailer that we got at Tennocon for the Hex quest had not only did it have some different stuff, it had completely different dialogue to what we actually got in game. Like a lot of different dialogue. We got different dialogue from the Hex. We got different dialogue from Nessie Rizalka. We got different dialogue from our character, or the Arthur, if you will. Yeah, the music here is amazing. Not to mention, look, I got to tell you, this thing being called Hunhollis, this has to be some kind of mech based upon Hunhal, right? And it even goes with the sentient naming conventions. You know, like they have the Oculus, the Conculus, the Sumlist, like the Hunhullist would be like one based upon him, right? Oh, did you? You really? So tell Aston, what did you were you able to infer anything interesting from that? No, no, I'm not necessarily saying Adis is Hunhao. What I'm saying is that this thing, I'm guessing, is something based upon Hunhao's physiology, and it could be, or it looks orchid made. To be honest with you, so it's very possible that either I don't know, man. Is Adis Hunhao? I don't know. I don't want to say anything because that's something that DE would pull, but it doesn't seem like it at least. The name of the giant is long. That's true. Did anybody else like catch that same thing that I caught with like whenever Ada said? I swear it looked like that, based upon the way that it sounded and the look of the text. I swear that Ada's called us Hayden Tenno. You know, there was some hidden text in the relay. Really, what? What? Oh, you don't know where? Crap. Do you remember what it was? I like that Doomslayer. Let's see. Insinuates that he willingly let them use his tissue in the vessels to create a battle sim. I don't know. That's yeah. That's. I think that's. I don't even know. See, the thing is we don't know what that is though, because I was looking over. I'll tell you what. Do you guys want to watch the trailer again, real quick? Because we could, like, we could kind of go over a few things. We could do that if you want. I found it's 3 model. There was a font loading. Personally, during the cutscene where the tenant made the deal with the man on the wall, I thought he essentially takes away every possibility from us and sets us on one path. Herder, I think, yeah, I think you're onto something there. Which, again, did we is this somehow contradicting that? Because now we have a third path coming in. Potentially not. Again, it's so hard to actually make a judgment, a definitive judgment call, especially because of the fact that, like, I am very curious to see what aspects of the trailer that we saw are going to be different from the actual gameplay. Is it just going to be a few lines of dialogue? Or is it going to be a bunch of... Here's another thing. They were very, very careful last time during the Hex quest, right? To hide the dialogue that we're very careful to hide the dialogue that alluded to the idea that Nessie was the man in the wall. So, with that in mind, and it being such, can you not hear me? I'll put it up a little bit there. I'll put some stuff up. Now we didn't get to the timeline yet. Oh man, code, I don't even know. Do we have 3 or 4? It's tough to say. It does have Hanhao's body parts, right? But here's what I'm saying to you. It's very possible. Oh, man. And I don't want to say this or anything, but it's possible that Adis doesn't exist. Chris, I'll get to that here in a second. You found something weird? No. What did you find weird, Aston? But what I'm saying is Adis might be a name that they change on Easy Allies. No, Aloha Stitch, I didn't actually see that. I'll have to check that out. Margulis frame? Emperor Crimson? Wait, I missed that. What? That's what I was thinking, was that basically maybe one of Hanhao's line, too. But, oh, man, Discord. I don't even have that up. Give me a second, everybody. Let me just see. This could be juicy. Juicy. Oh, that's a whole planet. I'm checking this out, everybody. This is actually pretty interesting stuff. Look at that. That's really cool, Aston. Thank you. Thank you for presenting that here. That's a look I would have never got. Hey, what was that? What was this one? What is this one? Frank, what is the sun is blue? You know what's funny is Frank, I didn't see yours. I apologize. If I'm not mistaken, maybe hey PG, how are you? Good to see you. The operator and Lotus are rewriting history in order to get a Tau. I don't know yet. Okay, that's the thing. There's a couple things that are actually kind of weird going on. Okay, first of all, I was looking it up, and first, isn't Tau Ceti not a blue star? That's the first one. Oh, by the way, there's a lot of people here, and I do thank you all for joining me here today. This is awesome. I very much appreciate it. This is a great one. But if you do have a specific question for me, if you could, put my handle in there. That way I can see it a lot easier. We hooked up to the Matrix, the Lotus Matrix style. Yeah, that's a big thing. That's something that that's it vexes me greatly because there's a couple things going on. There's a lot that we just don't have yet. Because remember, one of the things that we were shown pre Tennocon was the sun, the origin sun. So I'm curious to see yet what role that is going to play. Like, are we actually going to go there through the sun? And if so, what implications will that have on the origin system? Because like one would assume that would like kind of ruin it all. I just saying. English Sharon, hello. Yeah, I mean, for the Warframe universe, the Tau star is blue, but I think for the real universe, the Tau, it's not that. Well, that's another thing, Jennifer. When you I'm wondering if that sentient was trying to engage the Tenno, because it didn't seem like it was trying to kill, more like look and analyze. And I'm wondering if that whole thing is going to play a role in the. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, let me just make sure I got Ruka Key. Yeah, the Lotus is she's a strange ranger these days, so we should definitely watch. Just saying. I'm going to let everybody in on a potentially inconvenient truth that we may all have to come to terms with. Because of that image of Margulis, and there's a lot of things in Duviri, especially the Tainted Scholar's Landing, that very much put the behaviors and the actions of the operators in some really questionable places, okay? I'm not just talking about Margulis's eyes. There's way more than that. And a lot of what we saw, especially with Ballas looking revered in the trailer, in the demo, a lot of people have come to hate Ballas, right? Like hate Ballas with an unquenchable, like, hatred. But I wonder what that hatred would look like or feel like if we were to find out that the reason that Ballas went scorched earth was because not only had we taken the eyes of his love and then we're put him in a situation that he had to kill his love because she, of her position on the Tenno, and then screwed up a piece that he had brokered between the sentience and the Orokin. It's just kind of starting to make Ballas's turn and his hatred of the Tenno look more like the reason for all of his heinous behavior. Well, a Golden Doomslayer, you're right on that. But what I'm saying is, what I wonder, and I hope, I don't know, I just don't know how the community would even deal with this. But if DE would have the minerals, if you will, to actually portray Ballas like pre-Tenno, as a like really cool person, like just as like a regular scientist. Do you know what I'm saying? Um, like a normal dude that like just kind of doing his thing. Um, because I think there's an argument that can be made that everything that we see or hear about, Ballas at least, doing negatively, I think you could make the argument that that happened post Tenno. Well, temporals don't. You never know. We don't know anything yet. You know what I'm saying? Like so. Let's see. Who do we fight in the demo? Okay, I have a theory on that one. Let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't. We don't. I wouldn't say anything definitively yet. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, make sure nobody takes anything definitively um, at this point because should we take this thing in the relay as part of the lore like it did really come to the origin system? I don't. I don't know. That's a really good point. I guess what I'm saying is I'm going to leave the relay right now because I want to go into actually watching the, kind of going over not going over, but rewatching the thing again, and maybe just pointing out a few little. Oh, hello. Um, but like I said, it's important. This isn't. I'm actually looking at it right now. But let me finish my point here because this is kind of what the hell is that? um, this just so you know, this isn't the only that last year's Tennocon wasn't the only Tennocon where they took stuff that happened there in the demo and it literally completely changed. I can think of another one right now too. This was a huge one. Does anybody remember the reveal of Railjack in Duviri? Is the backroom mirror broken for me? Mm-mm. Oh, you mean like with the lighting? Yeah, it's kind of goofy. But it's not like cracked or anything. That'd be cool. Is yours? Do you remember? Do you remember what the original Duviri thing was? Our jump failed. Then how were we on Academy and Tau? Okay, Roku Caillou. This is kind of what I've been attempting to come to terms with in my own mind because that's the thing that, like I said, I don't. It's definitely possible. Okay, and I'll kind of go into something else here in 1 second. It's definitely possible. The timeline I said at least does allow for the events of the children of the Zariman to come back, and at this point, because it would have been relatively around the same time that the Warframes, or I should say, the sentients were being created, because we know from the which one was it? The Detron crewman imprint that right before the incident that basically allowed the sentient program to go off, which Ballas used some reverse psychology on the rest of the Orkin in order for it to occur. Right before that was whenever Archimedean Margulis had been given the jade light. It was literally like right before. They tie that in there. So with that in mind, the timelines are somewhat in line that the sentience would have been created. The technology would have been, I guess, perfected to the point where they could, or the solar rails were built, or by that point, or whatever, and the sentients made their way over. There was a conflict. The Orokin were like, no, you don't go against us. Blasphemous things, and sent, well, then we go to Mag Prime. Let me get some water. You ready for some voicing? Here we go. We sat strapped in, safeties off, waiting for the punch, waiting for death. Through my filthy porthole, I saw stars among the outlines of the outer splinter ships queuing for the solar rail. It would soon grip us with an incomprehensible power and cast us through the void into the mouth of our enemy. I watched the ships one by one, bending and gone, each crammed with Zerotech soldiers sucking stale air, white-knuckling their percussion rifles, each filled with a desperation that comes from extinction. Our ship would be the last to cross the gap. Our ship had special cargo. It was essentially empty. Just 10 men, like me, strapped in with the best Zerotech suits and weapons the Empire could build. And it stood in the aisle, a slender and eyeless metal form, a Tenno inside its warframe, vaguely human, vaguely feminine. Was this armor or some ornate carapace for the monster that lived inside? I strained against the harness of the ship, yawed for final approach. I could see the Tenno standing there freely, solemn and gold gleaming, oblivious to the inertial force. I had been, until then, a Tenno denier. They were ghosts, propaganda, twisted casualties of the Void era, not possibly real. Yet here it was, in the flesh. The Empire, in their desperation, was going to turn the demons loose and hope for the best. Who did we fear more? The enemy or this monster? We had our safeties off. Could we trust it? Then it didn't matter anymore. The punch came and our windows became blinding. When we could see again, our ship was somewhere else, shattered and distant in an instant. My lungs were flattened, full of death. Ship debris glittered like a night snow. The alien blue star was dark and blinding beyond us. The countless articulating worm ships of our enemy, ringed in glowing discs, undulating and heat-bursting the surviving soldiers like me. This is where I died. I was caught in our disc, sweeping over my right side and setting my blood on fire. My vision flattened, the hearing muffled and buzzed. I could feel the side of my face going slack and wet. I was in a dying dream. I saw a bright spot blurring and weaving toward me. I felt a tug toward it from the metal clasps on my suit. It reached me, rising up, a gleaming metal beast, a plume of golden wings rising and unfolding behind it. An angel. It snatched me from my death. I could feel my lungs fill as it wrapped me in its wings. Its void shield shimmered blue, strained under the enemy beams. I felt a sudden tug of acceleration. I closed my eyes and held on like a child. I woke on the floor, sting of crisping flesh on my face and side. It was standing over me, the wings gone. I heard the cracking of weapons echoing down the corridor. Maybe the mission would be saved, but I was dying, and so I waved my hand to send it away. I felt a pistol thrust in my hand as I was heaved to my feet. The angel had saved me, pulled me from hell, but it would not pity me. I was to die on my feet, by its side. I turned my good side toward the gunfire and raised the gun. It nodded, its outstretched metal hand surging and pulsing in ancient shapes as blue shimmered around me. It turned, drawing its blade, and together we surged headlong into the hailstorm of death and fire that awaited us. So many have speculated, and I do think that there is a legitimate case to be made, especially because the teaser trailers show, Mag Prime as kind of the first of the thing. I do think there's a case to be made there. However, there are details of both that don't necessarily match up. One, well, first of all, I can't definitively say that that was a battle simulation. I think it is. However, unfortunately, it's at that moment, whenever the simulation, quote unquote, ends, that the operator comes back to the sanctum. So I can't tell if that is a section of Tau that's just been laid out as like a kind of a training ground that they don't necessarily screw with per se and don't clean up because there's just no, it's just basically where, hey, that's where you guys go. If you want combat training, go over to that area where everything's all jacked up still. Or it legitimately is like a VR type simulation. And until we get that definitive information, we can go over this too. If we want to watch the trailer here, but at the end of the day, like that is something that's kind of clouding my ability, and I would hope everybody's ability to truly lay something definitive as to what we've seen. Then there is also the idea that, in the grand scheme of things, this is a vision. Not to mention, and we all know this if you've watched the channel for any extended period of time, WARFRAME loves its parallels. And the fact that Tenno says, I killed him, parallels the sacrifice quest, where, at the end of the day, that is, by our understanding, a manipulation. Then, you take into consideration what we already know about the people of the sanctum. Then you add, in reference to the trailer itself, the very end of it, where whenever the Tenno specifically says, I killed him, Lotus, it triggers something above. Now, I don't know if that's if the thing that the operator said is the thing that triggers that like clock looking thing at the very end. I'm talking about, or if that was like, it was just a coincidental thing that like something else is, maybe it's a time where someone's going to show up at that point, maybe at that point Entrati shows up. I don't know. But what I'm saying is at the end of the day, there is something, there's something going on there. So let's see, what did I miss here? I apologize. Aston, yeah, I did look at these. Some of these are, this one here is just freaking me out. Here, everybody, check this out. Boop. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it very well. Man, I hope you can. Look at can you see the background though? Not, it just looks so much like, you probably can't see my mouse, but you can actually see kind of the sentient designs a lot better with this image in the background. Not necessarily the relay itself, but the things that were like kind of floating in the background. It's real hard to see because of what's going on there, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see. So what else? Well, I'm sorry, but let's see. How much did I miss? The timeline is just working exploring the system. Our ship crashed, but according to one record, ship. Well, I mean, again, this is something else. We're gonna have to go through these codex here things too, because I had kind of assumed some of them may have been kind of forgotten about, especially the Ember Prime one. You know, that one in particular seems like it's kind of, you know, right? But I don't know. Let's see. It'd be cool if the mirror broke and Wally. Hell yeah, that'd be amazing. That would be even better than the chair. I got the name of the Orange Dax soldiers. They called the Separatists. Yeah. So I think what we're going to come to find out is essentially this peace that's been negotiated is predicated upon a thing, right? And these separatists appear to have figured out what that is. And that might not necessarily be a good thing. And it would be right in the line of ballast to like kind of underhandedly kind of put this thing together. Do you know what I'm saying? Versus almost like an Ozymandias. If you understand the reference to the Watchmen, Ozymandias, who like is the smartest thing and everything else. The stained glass. Oh, look, that's cool. And that's actually pretty neat, the lotus flowers, which is another thing. What are those? What? Look at that. What is that? That's so cool. Unfortunately, it's awesome. I just don't know. You're to me, you're a wizard or an alchemist, because this is like looking at Greek for me, essentially. Super cool, though. Super cool. Thank you, Ashton. I appreciate that. You shared that with us. Um, so what I was going to say is I do think there's a possibility that the separatists aren't necessarily bad people. They've just uncovered a thing that puts this treaty into question, especially with what they said about like a new home and it being so easily surrendered and this, that, and the other thing. Like, I'm very curious as to what, when we get the rest of the quest, how that's going to be fleshed out. Let's see, Donald, as a friend and I talked about it, and the best thing we come up was that the events of the Ademo took place during a short treaty during the Old War. Yeah, I think that's where we're. Yeah, it's how long and who started it and who ended it. That's going to be interesting. Aster, hello. Let's see. Sticker of Lloyd dressed as a saint. Yeah, I don't think that they're going to be racist. I think they're actually more on the lines of what you would call. I do think they're going to be looked at as an enemy faction, at least at the beginning. If you know your Star Wars, that's what the original group that went across the uh, the Republic were the separatists. You know, so and let's be honest, it wouldn't be the first time Warframe used cribbed a little bit from pop culture. Marty McFlee, if you will. Did I notice how Ballas's armor in the memory of the old piece was more akin to Romans? I did, right? It's definitely more akin to what DE had originally said that the Orkin were inspired around. You know, it's like gaudy almost to that point. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. There's a ship model in the relay and a painting. What do you think of that stuff? Checked out Steam. Oh, where at? I can't really see that part. Oh yeah, I got to talk about that. So we gotta talk about some um, Uriel. Uriel is the archangel of wisdom. So it's interesting that they're calling him the heretic of truth, which is Zata, of course, right? Hack himself. Hello. I will tell you, I'm actually, I don't want to sound bad or anything, but I'm actually kind of more excited for the heretic of Zata. I have long believed, and I've said this in many videos, that I think the tie between Rel and Harrow is Entrati. And I want to know if that gets confirmed in that update. Yeah, AIM, they were called Prime Grenier, actually, which is interesting. So, Dark Shotgun, it's interesting. See, what I was going to tell you about that part is here's the issue with the Mag Prime Codex entry and what we saw in the trailers, in the teaser trailer. First of all, there's no men. And the Mag Prime Codex alludes to the idea that it was all men and one Warframe. It was carrying special cargo, and it was just 10 men and one frame. And none of the other, it's alluded that the special cargo is the Warframe. So it is alluded within that codex, at least, that unless multiple armadas went at different places and times and then all showed up in a very specific single area where all those frames were around each other, also devoid of any type of remnant of a human, be it the zero suit that we're supposed to see. Like at first, I actually was, when I was looking, I was reading over the Mag Prime Codex, right? And I was thinking, okay. So maybe the Prime Grenier, this was before I knew it being a Prime Grenier, right? I was thinking, okay, maybe that is actually a zero tech suit. And then the Grenier were then, like they were designed based upon the zero tech suits. Like their design came from that, which I'm thinking, okay, that would actually make a ton of sense. But then the problem is, then they called them Prime Grenier, which, as I understand it, would mean that would be they are actually Grenier, which means that they are also clones. And then that kind of took my idea of, okay, well, then where are the men? Because that ruined it for me. Sure. I mean, if you don't want it, I can do that right now. Mm-mm-mm. If that's the what you want, I can do it. Boop. Boop. Oh, yeah, Aston. I have heard Rel say rap, tap, tap in Hulvania many, many times. I've hung out by that thing for longer than you can think. Oh, yeah. Eleanor. I wonder if there's actually going to be any kind of connection at all there. No. Code, it's fine. I understood what you were trying to get at. I understood. So it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. I don't think that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it could have been it. And I do think that there is a section, I guess you could call some of them racist, because that Cephalon, at least, used a, kind of a sentient slur, if you will, void lugger. So with that in mind, I think that you could do that. Oh, I almost guarantee that that Harrow, or I should say, the Harrow proto-frame becomes the Harrow. What I want to know is I want to see Andrade hand it to Rel. I want to see Rel. Oh, Rafulik, let's see. Hold on. Oh, you know, I might have deleted the last one. It's tough to say. Yeah, that was a freaky day. Oh, I just tried to log in there. That's how my brain is working at this point.
Operator, you have returned.
I think this is one.
Hey, Tenno.
There he is. Oh yeah, he's been there. Actually, he's been showing up a lot recently. In the beginning, when I first put the chair there, he was a little timid, right? I don't know if he didn't realize that this was a void entity safe place because I enjoy the whole thing. But as of recently, woo! Oh, PG, nice. That's good to hear. Back in the game. I really enjoyed Doom. I didn't end up finishing it on stream because it didn't seem like very many people wanted to see it. But I did actually, Zerg. I finished Expedition 33. I didn't finish all of the additional content after the fact, but I did actually finish it. It was very cool. I would like it if Wally came out of or even spoke to us through the mirror. You know, if you'd walk over there and every once in a while, like your image would be him instead, and be like, "Hey, kiddo," that'd be cool. So, English Aaron, you have to go to Velimir, I believe. I think it is. Rap tap tap. I'll get to your messages in a second, everybody down at the bottom there. I apologize. Oh, I went the wrong way.
Who would have known the baking soda volcano in third grade?
I've always got time for you, Drifter.
Oh, damn. Nice. Whew. Velimir, you want to get out of here for a second?
In every dream home, oh, you know how it goes.
It's just an ordinary office chair. That's it. That's all it is. So, this is the key. Chris, I can't really say for certain the reason why. I know that he knows that I talk about him a lot. So I think every once in a while he'll come in and, hey, how you doing? Let's see. And given that the stars turned blue, did it come to our system or did we? Oh, you mean, no, the relay. I think that in that aspect, the relay is supposed to be in Tau, you know. Sending test messages. Anyways, when we saw the trailer during the Tennocon live, at the end, when the Tenno wakes up from the memory, I had this weird hunch that since the Lotus is also a sentient, what if the Lotus was previously Atis? This is just a hunch. Okay, that's kind of what I was going to before, is that we don't know. Atis may not even be a character in the thing. Atis may be a character, but Atis may have a different name when the quest begins, only because it's too much of a spoiler. And that's what I was saying before, like with the dialogue, if they would have went with the original dialogue with the Hex quest at the Tennocon reveal last year, what would have happened was it would have given up way too much about the quest itself. We were meant to believe through the Tennocon reveal that it was just Major Ruzalka. It was Major Ruzalka with the Scaldra who were up against the Hex. That's essentially what the premise was. But then we did the actual Hex quest, right? And then when you did the quest, the minute, and this was one of the greatest moments I've had in Warframe. But when Arthur rolls up his bike and you see Ruzalka for the first time, and she uses the thing and she says, you know, something about, hey, kiddo, that's when you get the reveal, oh, this isn't Ruzalka. This is actually the man in the wall. And what I'm saying is with that in mind, Adis may end up being, you never know, Adis may be Hunhao. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it very well could be like a younger Hunhao. Absolutely possible. And it could be the reason why, you know, there's such a hatred against the Tenno, especially with the whole ballast thing. Or that could be Nata. That could be what Nata looked like, you know, first, originally. I don't know. Maybe Adis is Nata who becomes the Lotus. It's really tough to say based upon the thing, because DE they love to throw you off. If you have not figured that out yet, right? Yeah, I think everybody that the man in the wall possesses is still alive, per se. Let's see. I really fear that at some point we may have a drifter versus operator situation, and the outcome may depend on your little compass of choices. King Diamond, I've actually said, I think we're moving towards having to give the operator back, because the Tenno or the Lotus implies that the man on the wall wants the operator back, and she wants to give him the operator. So I think there could be some fire to that smoke, if you will, right? Right? This is what I'm trying to get at is, you know, I'm going to be doing a video speculating on all this stuff. You know how I like to do with you all. Well, you know how I like to give you all a little taster, right? And the other one is actually coming. Like I said, after this one, because I know everybody wants to see it, I'm going to finish the speculation video up and put that out. And then I'm going to put out the Owl Weaver one. The Owl Weaver one's pretty long because it's got a lot of stuff in it. Anyway, let me give you a little taster. Boop. Ooh. Ooh. So we're at 7 pages right now. So the answers are coming. Well, I don't know. Hey, you know, if Warframe doesn't have a problem with your name, I don't see why anybody else would. The Margulis Frame. Okay, this is the second time, or actually, this is multiple times that someone has said about this Margulis, like a Margulis Warframe. Is that what? Is there like a piece of concept art out there? going around? Is that so? Did anybody hear that? Yeah, here you go, everybody. We'll just stay right by it. I mean, Rebecca deceived me a day before Tennocon. You said we would think about reworking Oberon. Uh-huh. That's what she does. Oh. And hey. Okay. Yeah, we've been here already. Here, check this out. Ready? Bloop. I got you. I got you guys. I got you all. It's a really disturbing image. I'm not going to lie. It's really disturbing. And I'll say it again, like, to me, just like her coloring is so, like, she looks dead. Go touch grass. The Dawn. That's the Dawn's will. It's you. It's a very. Oh man, I gotta take that off. She's looking at me, but she's not. Just so you guys know, and it's actually completely disturbing, and I don't like that. Ah, see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't think we have a Margulis Warframe coming in, but I think that's what everybody was referring to, is that one single frame. How about this guy here? Like, do you ever wonder what these three have been thinking? Like, what is that thing that keeps going rap tap tap on the radio? I wonder if they can hear it. I wonder if like they're just hearing like, or is like anybody here like get pissed? Like, can somebody just please fix this thing so the stations don't keep going back and forth? I don't know. See, PG, that's the thing. Like, oh man, I don't know. She looks dead. That's all I'm gonna say. When we meet our old parents, or meet our parents in the old piece, I don't know, man. I would assume not, because that should still be probably decades, if not hundreds of years after the fact. Oh yeah, I mean, you could. That's one way to put it, Coat. Margulis's eyes are shot up by the Void kids because they're scared. But I'm going to tell you all something. You know, and this is something that I would be like. Look, this guy's screwing with the other guy with his feet. He's like, "Can you please stop that shit?" Yeah, um, you know, I wonder, and I postulate this in the script and in the video, if there are things that have occurred within Warframe's lore that we have purposely chosen to overlook because it painted things in a particularly negative way. Now, well, Shotgun, that is a good point. They're probably like, either that or they're like, dude, this cosplayer, I don't know what game this dude's from, but they look awesome. You know? I want you to consider something. I personally find it hard to fathom that the Tenno children were afraid of anything. And the reason why I say this is because we all know that at some point, at least, even after the Zeramin had gone through horrible stuff, fires raging on the lower decks, you know, The biomes had been sabotaged. You know, everything had been, was all the adults were feral, and yet the children were at ease and were laughing and singing and at play. That line, I do think, gets overlooked way too frequently, in that it insinuates that we, the operators, were enjoying the chaos. And I'm going to tell you that dialogue within Duviri, that Walzalka is willing to offer us, telling us about our past, seems to infer that there was a time when the children allowed the restraints off. Krisa, that's all I'm saying, what you just wrote right there. We killed our family, yet, oh, someone's being nice to us and helping us. Scream, I-beams. How about Colleen? All they did was open the ship up. And when she did, they melted her face. I'm not in the game. Really? Are you sure? Really? Did the man in the wall take me? Deuce, yeah. The old piece contradicts a ton of established lore. But I'm going to preface that by saying it doesn't necessarily break any of it yet. So that's something. One of the things that we do have to get into, though, is, like I said, there's this lingering confusion regarding the Tenno. And if they were able to walk outside in their child form, or if in order for them to engage outside without killing everybody, apparently, they had to do everything from within the confines of the Warframe. Like I said, essentially an avatar. No different. Again, no different, if you really think about it, than what occurs in the Matrix with Neo when he learns he learns kung fu, and he learns all those other drunken boxing and all this other stuff. His body doesn't do a thing. All the work is done through the avatar, through the intermediary into the brain, which now we see, crazily enough, that's even a potential way that this is how the dream functions within the brain of the Tenno, that they are hooked up in the exact same way as they are in the Matrix movies, with a connection into their brainstem. Balsama, hello. And hello to everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today on stream. I really appreciate you all being here. I hope you've enjoyed the stream so far. And, it hasn't been too much of me standing around. Unfortunately, in order for me to get ultra lore brain going, playing and stuff will kind of take me away from it, and I won't be able to read as many of the comments and kind of talk with you. So I'm just sitting here letting Rel go over and over, rap, tap, tap. Humans are remarkably capable at adapting. Eldritch horror can only be so scary and maddening for so long before it becomes mundane. Edward, you are so right. But that being said, though, I think it takes a little while. I hope, right? We're not that callous and unfeeling, are we? Hey, thank you, ABGXS. Appreciate that. Like I said, we gotta. At first, I didn't quite understand the confines because there are things that, like I said, this does contradict. But, you know, after thinking about it, watching the let's do that. Can we do that? Let's just watch it, right? Let's just watch it. Let me know if it's too loud or not loud enough, everybody. After a while of horror, you become indifferent. One might say, yeah, that is true. More magical game secrets. I can get more if someone is willing to progress the dummy account for science. Aston, how does that work? I'll tell you what, Aston. Now that I'm kind of back and functional again within the confines of the office and whatnot, tomorrow, because I'm going to be actually working here this evening after the fact, but tomorrow I'm going to hop on a Discord and put in there what you're thinking, and I'll tell you what I can come up with on my end. Because that would. I'm sorry, everybody. I pushed the wrong thing here. There you go. Oh, I see. Yeah, for working through that, I get it. I get you. We'll talk about it, though. I don't necessarily want to go outside of DE's parameters, but we'll talk about it. What, you didn't like hearing rap tap tap during this whole thing? Come on. You're just not having fun. Odd me, hello. So Ben Gale, I think this would have been, I would think, shortly into the shortly into the old war, in the beginning sections. Most likely based upon the concept of the initial, like essentially what we read in the Mag Prime. This was all kind of started with the initial assaults on Tau, and through some way, shape, or form, there was a ceasefire for some reason. And then, after the fact, there was a truce that was negotiated, but it also kind of implies that within this truce, there is a kind of a secret that's being withheld that might put the truce in jeopardy. And that's going to be, I think, at least one aspect of the story that we're going to have to uncover is potentially where the truce went wrong. But this is an interesting part. Now listen close, because I know you can hear it. Now you tell me it doesn't sound like that person says Hayden Tenno. Good, I think there's something to that. Right. Well, me too, don't. Hey, I was a minute late to this stream. So, yeah, I will go back. I said it on Twitter here, and I still agree that I don't like the inclusion of Excalibur Prime here. I don't. Actually, for a couple of reasons, if I'm being completely honest. One, I know that he is the flagship Warframe, per se, if you will, right? But at the same time, I'm kind of getting tired of playing Excal. Like, we just got done playing him as a part of the quest in the Hex. So, like, I would have preferred somebody else. Gemma, hello. Good to see ya. Yeah, the Prime Excalibur, Hayden. I'm just curious if there's something there, or if that's just like a little nod. If that'll be something that, again, the Hayden Tenno thing, that'll be dialogue that changes, and it was just like a little Easter egg for the demo here. That's true, Marky. There's actually missing a Warframe 2 that I didn't see. They are in different order, but there's a Rhino Prime that's missing as well. Yeah, I hope they did. Well, again, you know, the other thing to consider, guys, I'm going to tell you again, it's possible that we're not going to play with that frame. This could be just for the you know, the demo here. You know, it could be just for the view, just for the optics of Excalibur Prime and what he offers to the thing. But when we actually play the quest, who knows? Maybe we'll get to choose between a couple different ones. You know? Temple would have been cool, actually. I mean, I know who I would have wanted to play as. It would have been Revenant. But, you know, that one probably wouldn't make any sense. So here is where we're getting into the kind of, you know, now we're asking, I'm just going to pause this real quick. You know, we're asking the question of what does this mean? Especially considering the fact that we're within the sanctum. Like, that in itself poses a bunch of different things, because when you're in the sanctum and, you know, you're in this one of these little bath areas, you know what this part reminds me of? Jaina, what is the link of? If it's anything malicious, or anything potentially like weird or something like that, I'd prefer that you didn't. If anything, if it's something that you're questioning, but you think it's worth it for the thing, put it as a comment on the stream instead of linking it to the chat. Gemma, 20 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Gemma. I appreciate you. Helping the old boy out again. I very much appreciate that. Thank you so much. So, but what I was going to say is based upon this, like, we have all kinds of different things to consider. You know, when Lloyd says about polluted histories,
But not enough.
Not enough.
This is the only way we find out.
flooding their head with polluted histories. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean, is that saying that the Orokin had created or crafted a very elaborate narrative that they wanted to keep, like, intact? and that it would be detrimental if not. But I do have to question, like, why would it directly affect the Tenno?
His name was
You know,
Aegis.
or is she searching through strands of Kra, if you will? Oh, Gemma, thank you for the $5. I sad you're leaving, but thank you so much. I will see you in the next stream then, for certain. And thank you for everything. So that's the whole thing. Like, it could be polluted by trauma. That's the...
Relax. We've got this.
Thank you for that again, Gemma. That's what I'm trying to say is that. Let's just hold it. That I don't think we're at a point yet where I can say anything definitive. And I'm going to put that in the video too. Is that I would like a lot more Revenant Prime lore because, you know, everybody that knows this channel knows my special connection. I don't, PG, that's something. Perhaps he had to kill his friend, killing his humanity. Asked an eternalism like, it's... history is written by the victors. Now Lotus asks, what did you see? So she doesn't know what's there. That's a good one. Then in the end, the Tenno tells her, I killed him. Like, she doesn't know what we are seeing. That's, how could she know what we killed? That's a really good point. That's a really good one. Mm-hmm. Oh, aid us. Raise, that's, who said, who did that? Who originally? That, oh. Team Mister, but aid us. Uh-huh. Well, and again, this is where it all comes into play that this could be a false timeline. Pure and simple. Yeah, dude, Pat Ballas is looking awesome. Come on. You know, he's still got them kicks on, though. He's still rolling with them kicks. Right? Like, what if Aegis is the Lotus? What? Oh, man. Or you know, Nata. That's... I don't know. See, a lot of this dialogue here with Ballas, him calling the sentients what they are and everything, that is very outside of what Ballas would typically say. Just,
You'll learn about in this quest as to a time, a place where sentient and Tenno perhaps.
oh yeah, you got the double suns right there. Although again,
and they also perhaps did research together.
only in the Warframe universe. they're not the same color.
And sentient technology.
Yeah,
Like the
Zata
next
Truth, Zata Blue, maybe. But you know what, Lucas? You know what I think that is? Legit. I think this is. It's
and sentient technology.
insignia.
Used to be at war.
Right? Like it's the same thing the Warframes have. He's just rocking it. That's all. Racist orders, yeah. The rate of racist. I don't know what's up with that guy.
Welcome to the tower on
Well, we just don't know. The thing is we don't know what Nata looked like
a time, a place where sentient and
prior to. And again, Aegis is probably not Lotus, by the way. I'm not insinuating that.
And they also perhaps did research
Just it's an
together,
interesting thought.
including
That's all.
creating things that aligned Orokin and sentient technology. Like the next
Yeah, it's a signet. Exactly. That's right. That is one that we maybe even have had. That's okay.
Disgusting, isn't it? Orokin gold. Wasted.
Yeah, you're right. This does fit. I'm not saying that this doesn't fit within the timeline. It absolutely could fit within the timeline. Again, my question always comes back to the operator being outside of the transference pod at this point. because, you know, I've been led to believe that
So
they're
Caliban
kind of
Prime
reckless
Access
when
is
they're
coming,
outside of
and
them.
he is, of course, part of the
And look, we have an
history of
Archimedean
the Tenno, a time when
sentient
sentience
here.
impacts
That's
were
interesting in
mentors
its
and
own
even
right.
Archimedeans. This is Archimedean Itsam, and he has something pretty important to teach the Tenno and
Oh,
sentients
Kofu
of
District.
Westeros.
That's a good point. I mean, it could just be a product of the sentience,
Like
but
any good
yeah, those
anatomy,
hands
you
do
will
look
be
similar.
tested on knowledge, studying things. So let's see what's going to happen in this
Focus
room.
to get the good ending. Oh my God, can you imagine that, Victor? We probably do. No, I don't think so, Code. I think that's a different cephalon.
The Tenno ways.
Now, is that a cephalon that maybe like was an Entrati? It used to be somewhere within the sanctum? Yeah, I could see that one.
What is the expected outcome?
Now, before we help our friend cheat on his test, the operator.
It's interesting. They're kind of
remaster
talking
is
about the
also coming.
connection
You've probably
between the
noticed how
Warframe
wonderful
and,
the
or
art
at least
looks.
the operator and things right there in that question.
So what you're seeing here is a completely remastered
The sentient looks
operator,
part
as well as
Wall-E.
using a
That'd be
Prime
interesting,
access
right?
suit that's coming. And you know, as
I was
you've played
originally like,
your
what if
focus and
this
you've grinded
drifter
it,
because
maybe
of that
you've
Ortis
noticed
looking
you use a
thing,
lot
but
of
this
sentient
makes sense
cards,
because
so
of the
maybe there was a history
pools.
there, and maybe the focus
Oh,
will
okay,
be
yeah.
a piece of it. So maybe we'll learn.
Ortis's
about a little
doppelganger
bit
has the head of a
about it. Now, Megan,
peregrine,
you
the
can
owl.
help us out.
Yeah, maybe.
A new somatic.
Well, that's another thing, T-Mister, is like it does really seem like there's one operator out here. But again, if that's the case, that would actually fall more in line with the Mag Prime Codex. If there is only, if within the quest itself, we come to find out that there is only one, that would line up perfectly with the Mag Prime Codex, because there was only supposed to be one Warframe sent out. Not there. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, look. Yeah, here we go, everybody. See that? So now you're getting an idea of what the real Tau Ceti is. Thanks, Asin. That was actually super helpful. Thank you. What does what say? Which one? Oh, why that sentients have glasses? Probably for the appearance more than anything else. Kind of in the same way that, like, when you talk about, you know how, like, with AI and machines and stuff, they always try to make them look more human to fit in. This is probably supposed to be kind of like a, you know, just kind of a, in the same breath. Do you remember how she takes Adis? I think they said he, right? I don't know what it is. Adis, the sentient, takes off its face at the end, right? And I think that has to do with the idea that they are purposely trying to kind of fit in and blend in with, you know, the humans and whatnot. Oh God. I'm gonna have to. I honestly, I don't know my Orkin script good enough. I'm guessing it has something to do with this person here. This what's that person's name again? It's a Lloyd sentient. It kind of looks like that, right? Hey, this is a he. Okay. Hey, Chris, said good night. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Okay. So he's a male. Okay. I couldn't remember exactly. So we'll keep going. Zalastra, that's her name. Okay, see, that's what I figured. It's basically
We are at a time to defend
kind of a rap
dreams,
sheet,
so
if
that
you
means
will,
the job is on
an
us.
overview
Praise the void. You two managed to show up on time.
See, okay.
Thorough overlook. Go.
See, now I would assume these all to be, like I said, Grenier. Is that a human? I can't really tell. Is this a twig? I don't know. Oh man, I hope that doesn't start here. Nothing else. It always causes so many problems on the other end of things. What planet we going? This is one of, Tao's moons, Parida. See, that's the thing. They called him Rhino Prime, so I don't know. And you got plenty of Dax. But the Dax aren't, again, what I would have considered anything, like, I don't see anything with these quote-unquote zero suits. That being said, this could be, months, years after that initial thing came in. Eidolon Volumulus doesn't look a little bit. I think if they renounce the staff, they could. I mean, again, a lot of it's based upon it's symbolic in nature for the Dax soldiers, like the adherence to the Kuva and to the staff. It's like a duty. It's duty bound. But there could absolutely be Dax that essentially are like, screw that duty. I don't care. And that's what I'm talking about, that there's some other thing here going on that we haven't kind of been given the full story on. I'm not really sure about the origins of Parida, to be honest. Oh, I wonder if the Yellow Turban Rebellion has anything to do with this. That's I haven't had an opportunity to really delve that deep into things.
I see them.
Yeah, I think it is. I think this is a section of the Orokin that, for whatever reason, and this is the crux of what we're going to get into story-wise here, I think. So we're walking into this area right now, and you can, as you walk around, you can look and see that there's going to be some sentient skeletons around and whatnot. So somebody was utilizing them.
As time goes on, and the man in the wall continues,
Potentially doing the similar thing to what they did to us, with the whole Orphix Venom thing, where essentially they were like gauging us for our weaknesses and stuff. All these sentient bodies that you're seeing like strewn all over the place could have been either just dead bodies or ones that they were like looking for weaknesses or whatever, and you can kind of see that throughout.
What say you all? Shall we enlighten this Tenno?
Donald, that's possible. The Grenier looked more human because the cloning hadn't been going on long enough for the DNA to start breaking down. Potentially. The weapon looks kind of sick. I'll take it. I've been listening to Rel say rap, tap, tap in my ear this whole time. So, I do that for you guys. The other thing, too, we're going to talk about is the song, the sentient song. The sentient song and the fact that there's this song that can heal the sentience. And there's also a song that the void adheres to. So I don't know if it's just song, and Warframe could be playing out that music in the Warframe universe has significant properties behind it. Not just, on the surface of being an entertainment thing, but it has its own characteristics in this world that are different. This is actually pretty sick right here. Lukey chats. Yes, we've showed it a couple times here. I'll bring it up again. That looks sick, right? But my only problem with it is like, can I ask you all?
My old pet. Better count your flock again, dog, and keep your ships on the ground.
When do you think we're going to use that ability? Like, maybe if we go on an Eidolon hunt or against the Ropalolist? But does it work against them? I just can't see using that thing in a small corridor, unless it's going to, like, cut through all the walls and just complete the mission. Like you're on an exterminate and you walk up about 20, 30 feet and then... And then it's like the Lotus comes on and she's like, oh, congratulations, you've went through their ranks, head to extraction, blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't know what that means. So T Mister, technically this is gonna be the past. So he hadn't this would actually be before the apostasy prologue, and assumedly. I think we can guess that, again, based upon if this has any, if this is the really real world and not just a strand of Craw, we can actually say that this is where Ballas was hiding all that time out in Tau.
No history
I'm going to slap the sergeant with it. You could use it on the tank. Yeah, you could do. You could probably do. See, look, there, right there where she says she's. But I want to.
You're the only ones.
This is like key right here. No history taught in those Tenno schools. Peace cannot abide the machines. What does that mean and why?
Let me show you why.
That's the part that we got to figure it out. Side quest stories. Yeah, you're right. That obviously wasn't Ballas. I mean, he would look like an Eidolon himself. But I think it's a good bet to believe that at this point in the timeline he is alive and well. He would have to be. See all the sentient spines and stuff that are around, like. So you can see little pieces. Here's a spine. There's a spine on the left-hand side. You can just see it's almost like a graveyard for the sentients. See that? There's one hanging on the wall right here, or it's like hanging. Yes, the separatists think that there is something about the sentients. Or there's something about the sentience that is either keeping them from coming to this place, because that's what she says, a home so easily surrendered, or there is something about the sentience that we shouldn't be idly trusting. And what we come down here to find is it looks like, so there's this part where we talk about the core override, and it being synonymous with essentially a sentient not being able to be returned to, I guess, a reasonable perspective. Yeah, the machines is definitely referring to the sentient. This part's one of the best parts. This I want to feel like, and I don't want them. I don't want to say anything disparaging, but like I'm slowly beginning to believe that the writers of Warframe's music, they had to have given their soul to Satan. There's no other way. There's no other way. You can't keep putting out bangers over and over and over like this. Like Grammy-winning artists don't put out music like this on the regular. Like they put out a couple good songs, but then there's a bunch of other crap ones, and then the next album is garbage sometimes. It's like, what's going on? How do you do this? What? Okay, but before we go any further, here's my thoughts. What's he doing? What's Matt Chalmers doing? Dude, he must love Warframe so much because he could just go out and he could just get himself a record deal or just make his own album. Obviously, he knows what the hell he's doing, and just start selling albums and become a world-renowned artist on his own. Like, he could just do that if he wanted. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no other way to describe it. There's no other explanations anymore. Do you hear what I'm telling you? I've been around. I'm old, right? Artists don't do that. You don't just keep putting out awesome shit. You have flops, dude. I'm sorry. You have garbage music that you have to put out, and he just refuses to do it. And I mean, we've heard about these things, man. We've heard about them in the past, dude. Robert Johnson. Right? Where'd he get it from? Yep, that's right. Yep. You know what the other thing is? We're talking about other people who claimed to have sold their soul, who don't have as many bangers. Think about that. Those people, they got sold a false bill of goods. Right? Because they may have put out some great hits, but they didn't consistent. It's like everything's awesome, and then this one's awesome, and then this one's awesome. Oh yeah, this one, awesome. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is there's something sinister. He's tapped into the desert of the real, if you know what I'm saying. So here's the part that I was talking about before. Like, it doesn't look like it's gonna kill us. It looks like it's just checking us out. Wouldn't you agree with that? Like, I agree that, like, obviously up front, but then it's just kind of sitting there. It looks like it's just more observing, trying to figure out, or maybe it's even remembering who it was at that point. And then the Tenno misconstrued what was happening. Or maybe the Tenno is just an asshole and was like, I don't care. That's possible now. Sorry. Do I think God is working with DE? Well, it would explain a lot. It would explain a lot. How's that? There was a transference sound, so it looked like for a second either the Tenno came out, or I'm not really sure yet. And somebody else went in, like Wally or something. Who knows? I don't know, though. And it's a weird thing because, again, I've only asked it. Unfortunately I booted it up and I started the very beginning, but I haven't been able to get into it because of all the reasons I've been talking about, and with everything with Warframe and all this other crap going on. But I got them both downloaded. I'm definitely going to be trying it out. They actually look really interesting. I did kind of look over some of the lore of it just to get an idea of what was going on. Super cool though, and I will get to that. Another second dream moment. Yep, there you go. But see, this is what I was talking about before with the whole... It looks like they're trying to look more like human to assimilate. But this seems to be a move that put that all into jeopardy. Coat, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if it was something that the Separatists did to bring it out, or if that was just something that innately happened and they saw it first, if you will, and were holding it down there. Oh, okay. Yes, I can do that. Well, some of it I want to play on off stream, if that's okay. I can always start the game over too, but I just want to have an idea what I'm doing now. Getting back to this here real quick. This is what I was talking about earlier. We all know that the correlation between this and the sacrifice quest. Is it a coincidence that this started turning whenever she said, I killed him? Or was that something that, like, forced it to happen, if you will? Oh, Floppy, that's a good pickup right there. Him or me is a little echo of the Indifference trying to get the Drifter to kill that. Yeah, that's an interesting little parallel there. I like that. Good catch. Good catchy. That's very good. That's an interesting last line there. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a banger. What if what we just did? That's Donald. That's kind of what I keep thinking. What if we did just what we just did by killing the sentient directly triggered the events that made the treaty fall through, and that was kind of something that I was bringing up in like earlier, in that I wonder if we just have this terrible outlook of Ballast for good reason, for the things that he did. But I can't help but wonder if the operators weren't just like the thing that just messed everything up that he tried to do all the time, like messed up his relationship, and then forced him to kill his relationship, and then messed up his treaty with the sentience that he had, like. If it turns out to be the case, I don't 100% know that I can fault him for going scorched earth against the operators. That's kind of all I'm saying. Let me see what we got here. What if Ballast is the one getting in the frame? Oh my God, can you imagine? Ballast is the one getting it. Well, the crazy thing is, Ballast has already been able to control a frame with a transference bolt. To what level the control is, we don't know. But that is an interesting thing. When old peace coming? It's so It said 2026, right? But I heard Rebecca say late 2025. I don't know if that was a misprint on the trailer, because that would be weird if Tau came after the new year, because they usually don't do that. We usually get him in December, like the middle of December. I would assume that's what it's going to be. Oh man, yeah. If we're the cause of it all, God, that sucks. But that's engaging. That's engaging storytelling right there. That's powerful stuff, dude. Oh, Donald, that's Ballas is already on some Palpatine level deception. We're already there. He's already been playing both sides for a very long time. Like, Ballas is absolutely Palpatine-like in a number of ways. Old Peace 2025, Tau 2026. Okay, there you go, right there. That's going to be weird how that works out. I wonder what's going to happen between Tau or the Old Peace and then Tau. Well, I guess, what's interesting is there is captures. Hold on real quick. I caught this last night. I can't seem to hear anything, though, for some reason. Oh. I don't know why there's no audio for it. That sucks. Hopefully this isn't the one that I'm looking for. No, this is the one, unfortunately. But none have seen Tau in centuries, nor heard it speak. I don't know where the audio went. I'll have to figure that out later. But, the current Tau, even according to what are you looking at? What's everybody looking at up here? The current Tau, at least by the Lotus's understanding, is barren. What the hell was that? I just heard some knocking. English Air, and I think that's what we're going to come find, is that the void is if nothing else, it has some kind of conductive properties with the void. Now, the sacrifice for that could be the quote-unquote wombs in ruin, right? That could be the sacrifice. That could be the deal. Right? Let me see. What is this? Reb told me. Wait, hold on. Reb told me, it's ready in fall, but they want to make sure there's not any bugs so they give time. But yeah, that is. I agree. Especially with some of the competition that's out there and bugs and junk and stuff. Oh, no worry about it, Donald. You don't have to worry about that. There are no stupid questions, only those that we don't ask. Yeah, we're all going to get back into the labs. I wonder, Rays, okay, that area right there, I wonder if we're going to get to it by going on the undersides of the sanctum, the one that there's like two doors that don't open yet. I wonder if we're going to. I don't know why. Yeah, Dominus has some weird reddy looking eyes. They're strange. Oh yeah, mayhem. That's right. That probably is what they're referring to. So I'm kind of curious to see what the Tau of now. Absolutely, Floppy. Yeah, that's it. The sentient wombs were taken so they would eventually die off. That's exactly what it was. They wouldn't be able to come back, and at some point, they would, any single one that lived for, an extended period of time would be gone. I hope we go down there. Is Tau silent, or are we just too far to hear anything? I don't know. See, like, here's the thing. I would assume that the Lotus would have the quote-unquote in on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there were any vestiges of the sentience still out there, that she would be able to have a bead on it, have some kind of tie or some kind of feeling, if you will. I definitely think there's going to be a tie that Intradi's technology is going to come into that Hun Hullis thing. But I do think it's absolutely designed off of Hunhao like that, because if you remove the vessel head, all the little sentient parts and everything, at least the top part without the legs, it looks like Hunhao. Coat, that could be. It could be that old piece is going to show a version of Tau, and then the one that we get after the fact will be the real one, and we'll get to see what's actually. Because remember, we have to deal with Pazul. Pazul's out there, and there is something going on in in Tau still. What that is, who knows? And more importantly, what is that egg-looking thing? So the good thing is, I do think that we're in a really, really, really fun spot for the lore. I just think we're going to also be in a position where we're going to have to be a little bit open-minded on what we think we know. Maybe I'm just saying that to myself and nobody else. I don't know. How did they make it? Wait a second. There was a tweet. I gotta hold on. Maybe I'll bring it up because it's great. It's so underrated. Like, you have no clue. I'm gonna screw it up if I don't read it too. That's the thing. We have we have Hun Hao. Now we need to find Hun Wen, Hun Where, Hun Wu, Hun Hu, and Hun Wai. That to me, I have read that back to myself a couple times now, and open belly laughed. That was a great tweet. Floppy, I like the way you said it the first time. I think the old piece is a secondary outcome. We want the new piece, not the old piece. Right? We can get Hunhal's voice actor to say that. On which will we get first? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. Oh man. Yep, you got me. You got a snort out of me on that one. That one just it killed me. It killed me. So yeah. How's it going? Yeah, we can. Oh my God, we could get into so many of these things now. You know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you laugh, but I'm dying myself over here. Hanif. I'm sorry. That really got me. It got me. It got me right in the laugh basket. On what the fuck we do? That's when you need a real meal. You gotta get yourself a humwich. How am I supposed to unsee this now? All right, come on, man. Let me breathe, dudes. Dudettes. Come on. Hello, Yvonne. On whoops and oh, dude, my stomach's starting to hurt, man. All right, focus. Focus. I'm hungry myself. It's always hun. Oh, hun how? Hun now. I'm kind of hungry too. Honey. Honey. Oh, dude, you don't even know. I laughed so many times at that already because it's just I don't know why my 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 laugh brain was like, that's funny, dude. Go at it. I got you. I'm sorry. You guys are gonna give me a heart attack on stream. Let me look and see what we got here. What is that? On the how list? I gotta be honest. What you guys do with making these video games and stuff, it's amazing. Like, I'm an older person. I do have experience in coding and whatnot, but it's very basic. It was just to get my degree, and like seeing what you guys are all capable of. It's actually it's pretty incredible. Super cool stuff, man. Will we get to meet the Lords of Tau? I don't know. I would like to see us, especially if we do get to go to back in time, you know, per se. I would very much like. I don't know, I would very much like to see. I've said this countless times now. It would be neat to see a little bit more of the Orokin way of life. And this is an opportunity to do that. I don't know how big of a slice of the Orokin civilization like we're going to get to see. I don't know if I don't know if you all noticed this, but did you notice that Tau is terraformed specifically to look identical to the moon? I'm going to bring this. I actually have this in my script, and I will visually show you all this. But Tau looks identical to the moon. And for obvious reasons, literally the sentience terraformed Tau to literally replicate what the moon, the Orokin capital, looked like, which I think is really cool. Gonna hunt out this how if I hunt too. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. On that Boro, the area there is meant to. It's meant to. It looks exactly like the moon. The structures there. These are nuts. Yeah, I want to see Tuval too. I'd like to see all of them, to be honest with you. I'd like to actually get to see what that looks like. Like, it'd be cool if in this one we got to see like a little cinematic of what went on during the crewman, the Detron crewman, the Samaris imprint. Like, actually got to. That Loki, it looks like the Void Loki right there. That is a dark, dark, dark Loki. Damn. I mean, again, and who knows? We don't even know yet. It could be a strand of Craw. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that, it could be. It's not like we haven't been playing enough with them here recently. We got one in Duviri. My money's on one in Hovania. You know, so in the grand scheme of things, I do think there is adequate evidence at this moment in time to account for both. It being an actual sliver of the past, that we're seeing, and that's what it really was, and it's just basically through the lens of the operator, because they experienced it, and all the Lotus did was just open up a repressed memory. That absolutely could be what it is, or on the other end of things, it could be the other way, that going through the Lotus Matrix machine allows one to see different possibilities of things that could have been at some point and not necessarily what was. And that would fall in line very much with what everything that we've already been doing. So there's adequate, reason. What's going on over here? One of the other things to consider too is that it really does kind of put into question if the Lotus seems to believe that Tau is kind of like a wasteland and no one's heard of it for a while and there's nothing really there. It really does make you wonder, what did Ballas want to go there for? Did he not realize that, had he been back too long to realize that things were messed up, or is the Lotus just not informed enough? But you would think that she was, considering she was like right within the context of all the sentience just recently, and you would assume would have understood what's going on, with the sentience and Tao, and like Era would have spoken to her. Hey, by the way, remember Tao? You got some people there in your family, and oh, hey, this person said hello to you, and just so you know, I haven't seen you in a while. How did I come up with my channel name? My channel name was originally created as a project for my degree in information technology. So one of the courses that I had to take forced me to create a YouTube channel and make a video. It could be on anything, anything I wanted to do, but the idea was to have a baser understanding of editing and being able to upload and stuff. It wasn't like an advanced course of any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, I have limited coding. My degree was in information technology, database, and systems management, essentially. So kind of far away from that sphere, but I've just always been a gamer. But I had to make the channel. I made it. And then for those who have followed the channel for a while, that'd be a long time, by the way, I kind of started just randomly putting up Destiny videos because that was where I kind of really got into the idea of having a YouTube channel. So I was a Destiny YouTuber for a really long time, and then not really seriously by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, heck, you could question if I do it seriously now, considering how long it takes me to put out videos. But regardless, putting that aside, at the end of Destiny 1, it sucked. So that's when I moved over to Warframe, and I haven't been there, and I haven't moved away since. And my channel just comes essentially off of like I said, it was just like a name I kind of came up with on the fly because I wanted to get this stupid thing done with it. And it was in reference to something I was looking at the time, in context with a couple different things. My own personal thing placed on it. You know how it goes. Imagine that's how most people got their handles, right? But yeah, that's where it came from. The Destiny 2 is like I played a little bit of the little one played the majority, but they're into it more than I am at this point. But yeah, the new ones, I don't know. It's there. So there you go. Moving on. Does Lotus know what's happening in Tau? I really don't know. Like I said, she seems to know what's going on, but does she? I guess that's what we're going to find out, right? Oh, feel free, Aston. The narrative panel, they said specifically we would learn what was meant when we said we severed stars. Well, I'm going to tell you something. This is an interesting thing. Yeah, right? That's interesting, not say 66. It really did, huh? See, there are no coincidences in the world. Did you ever think the two Warframe YouTubers, Lord YouTubers that have D alone in their name aren't just one and the other? That'd be now how we were named. All right, hold on a second. Check this out real quick. This is in a 3D model of a character inside a big sentient guy. It's like a pilot. And its eyes. That is cool. That is super cool. Hold on. Crap. And this is how Warframe does partials. They're little squares, particles. Oh, look at that. There's just so much that has to come together for a game to be able to be shown. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. If it's a boss fight, this means we kill the pilot. Oh man, I don't want to think about that. Poor Hades. What would we? We didn't do nothing. Want to play as a YouTuber, and he made some more videos. That's interesting. There's actually a couple of them. I saw there seem to be maybe a few new ones coming in. You know, hopefully with, you know, one of the things to consider too is I'll bet you any money when we get a little bit closer to Tau, because this is kind of a big update. I don't want to say this for certain because I don't know either one of these people. I've never spoken to any of them or anything else, but I would like to think that there's a possibility that like Stallard and Corgi the Mighty might come back and you know, do a couple videos, maybe get back into the groove, if you will, and who knows, maybe they'll continue on and they'll continue adding to the discussion as well as the new one, the new Warframe, you know, lore tubers, if you will. I mean, we can only benefit from having more people. You don't lose. You only win. Yeah, Destiny 2 really did have its story in. That's the problem. That's why it's having so much time, you know? Well, I think, guys, I'm gonna tell you flat out, it's very difficult being a Warframe YouTuber, lore tuber, I should say. There's a lot to cover. There is a lot of wow. Whoa, what's up there, Peach Beans? How you doing? Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, so I just think that in a lot of scenarios, it's very hard to keep, especially, you know, in order to get Warframe lore right, you have to do a lot of research because there's just so much of it. So that requires a lot of time, and I'm not sure that the juice is worth the squeeze for everybody. That's all. Because, you know, I would say that lore-wise, Warframe lore tubers get like far less views on the regular than like Destiny ones or Warhammer or Doom or, you know, anything like that. Like, I think just because the story is very, very hard to follow, that while the group of people that enjoy the lore are a strong contingent, we're just maybe not as large a group as other games, if you will. Potentially, I don't know. I'm just kind of going off of what I saw from, you know, I just see from like going to their channels and whatnot, and like for the amount of the work that they put in, perhaps, again, I'm speaking for them when I don't know shit. But maybe they just have other things in their life that they have to prioritize at the moment, that you know, Warframe lore is just not something that they can address at the moment, you know, be it a personal thing or be it their job, you know. Or maybe they're just playing some other stuff right now. You know, it's possible. But we'll see. Like I said, wait until stuff comes back online. You know, we'll wait, because I will tell you something. Korg the Mighty actually joined one of our streams here recently, and was you know, BSing back and forth with us, which was super cool. And so, who knows? Maybe they get a wild urge to make another video again, and then, you know, maybe that video comes out and it gets nice recognition. Hint, hint, all you will, if it comes out, and, you know, it inspires. Oh, hey, you know, maybe I'd like to make another one. He did. Yes, he did. Yep. Yes, he did. It was super cool. And so I'd say the same thing with Stallard. Who knows? You know, like I said, all I would say is if either of them or your favorite Warframe lore tuber, if they have stopped posting, right, but they haven't come out and said definitively that they're done, just keep an eye out for them every once in a while. And if they do post, you know, give them some love. Give them some love and show them that they're wanted, right? Yeah, we do want a new companion, by the way, a sentient companion, Aston. That's a yes. Yes. Destiny's ruining themselves by becoming too corporate. You shouldn't have included Star Wars in your game. That was dumb. It's one thing to have a little alliteration of, or an illusion of Half-Life in this game, because in the grand scheme of things, it would make sense. Like, Half-Life was a game that was available at that time. So, like, it being included here in Halvania, it's not lore breaking in any way, shape, or form. It's just like, hey, this is a mall with stuff, and that was a game that was, you know, that was played. But when you're including Darth Vader's freaking armor, and I'm going around killing stuff with General Grievous's crap on, like, no. You can, now what you could do, you can't, if you want to, you can meld. I think you can get away with Master Chief. I think you can get away with that because, you know, you can make like little hints and whatnot towards the thing, even though Bungie doesn't own, you know, the right anymore. I think you can get away with having little Easter eggs or little things like how they did in Destiny 1, where they kind of potentially even alluded to, you know, Master Chief being an original Guardian in some way, you know. It had to be looked at through the right set of eyes, but you could see that. And I think that's okay. Because it technically, if you're looking at it through the context of the worlds, you know, with Bungie being the one to create Halo, you know, with them especially, and with the fact that, like, if you go into Halo, there are pieces that, you know, that directly show Destiny in Halo games. So there's already a kind of a bridge there. You can make that. But, like, no, I'm sorry. You cannot get away. We can't do Kylo Ren in Destiny. That does not work. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. And the fact that they're doing a whole expansion in what very much appears to be like a Star Wars world. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I still love the gunplay of Destiny. I think I always will, because it's fantastic. It really is. It's one of the best first-person shooters, feeling-wise, there is. And I think that's the only reason why it still exists today, because that one aspect of that game is as close to being unmatched as you're going to get in the first-person genre. But story-wise, like, I got out of it a long time ago. I don't know anything about the lore anymore. I don't read the lore tabs anymore for Destiny. I don't. If you go into my Destiny character right now, you'll see just pages and pages and pages and pages of that in-game lore that they have where, you know, if you do a thing, then you get a page of lore. And there's 10 pages of it, whatever. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I don't care. It's done. It's done to me. Like, yeah, I played, like I said, I'll still play it periodically for the gunplay. I like that. That's fun. It's good. It's got good gunplay. It's got some fun weapons too. It's good. And considering my little one enjoys Destiny anyhow and wanted me to buy the new expansion, you know, I did. So at some point, any point I want, if I want to kill some stuff in Destiny, I can just hop right on and do it. But yeah, I'm not going to do it like weekly. I'm not going to grind for anything in there. I don't even understand. I saw that briefly played a little bit with the new armor system, and to me, it's pointless. It's just artificially inflating game time. But that's kind of where the game is really putting a lot of its eggs, if you will, in that basket. The Cube. I did not play that one. I think I saw the thumbnail of that one, Astacross. I'm going to have to look about it. I don't really know much about it. Joe, hello. How are you? Joshua, hello. So again, this is one of the things I really love about Warframe 2 is that they're keeping it serious. Like they're fully invested in this world, you know, and they're fully invested in the gameplay and the story, and that to me is a huge thing, because one of the things that people are coming to find more and more is that when it comes to investors, even right, they don't want story anymore. They don't care. Yes, that is the Lodestar chest armor right there. I'm not sure. I was actually like, what was the? I saw a video in regards to today's Aston. Maybe you might even be able to, if you're still in the chat, you might even be able to speak on this. I don't know. But it appears as though when new games are being pitched to investors, right? Investors are openly telling people that they don't really care about story. Like that's not something that is driving their interest in games. Oh, that's possible. Well, a lot of people will be happy about it if that gets rid of damage attenuation, if the new focus ability does that. I don't know if you deal with this aspect of it, but that's what I've been seeing more and more kind of talk about that when, like, if you're going to look for new investors for a video game, especially if it's a new game that isn't already like predicated upon an existing thing or world that's already like successful in its own right, that a lot of investors are like, I could care less about the story. Like that doesn't mean anything to me. Tell me about the gameplay. Donald, thank you for joining the Scholars. Appreciate you. Oh, see, okay, there you go. And that's my thing. Like, I think this is one of the things I think a lot of people are dealing with as game developers, that there's a love of the story and may even be the driving force behind a developer wanting to do a game is the story itself. But then having to walk that line between doing what they want story-wise, like Aston's talking about right here with like the games that they've developed, like, putting story front and center and making that something that's important, and on the same end of things, having to toe that line where you're telling the investors, oh, I got enough stuff here, that's gonna gain me cash. You know, got the cash coming too. So I don't worry about the story. I'll take care of the story. Here's the cash part. You get the cash. I'll do the story, and it allows the consumer, us, you know, the ability, shielded by the devs' love of gaming, to continue to enjoy a great story, at least from Digital Extremes perspective, while towing that line for your investors. Like, it just seems to me like Destiny has kind of had to compromise that line far too many times, and it's cost them. If you feel free to put the story on there, Aston, absolutely. And English Sharon, I think you're right. Everybody wants a Fortnite because of how much money it makes. I hope Duviri does. I hope Soulframe links to Warframe. I know a lot of other people aren't going to like that, but I love when games have shared things and whatnot, especially when a developer does two games that they have a shared link, even if it's just in a very, very subtle manner, if you will, right? Yeah. Oh, the stream's 30 seconds off. Are you serious? I didn't think it was that long. Really? I gotta check that in the settings. I don't know if that's something I can change. Like, I've never altered any of this stuff. So if everything's changed from a normal stream, it's YouTube's doing some stuffies. Here we go. See, look, Aston says, you see, the investors need products to sell. If you have, I don't know, plushies, miniatures, characters that you can sell, you get $1 billion budget. Wow, jeez. Give me 1 second, everybody. Matthias, after I get home, I'll have to listen to the speculations of our... Yeah, this is going to be actually a pretty... I think it was a pretty fun stream, everybody. What do you think? It's red. It's the way it's supposed to be. I don't know. Well, companies are going to company, English Aaron, aren't they? I think that's where it is. Unfortunately. I mean, you want me to emote? Oh, I'll do my... I never get to... Oh, there's the Void Loki again. Dude, why is this guy... It's so dark. Cappers, I think you're the man on the wall. I don't think you're real. That is the darkest... Look, he disappeared. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. Huh. Well, companying is never going to be illegal. What we need to do, I'll tell you what we need to do. You ready? Here's what we need to do. We need to start holding people accountable. That's it. If you do things that go against things, that's it. You say, you know, money shouldn't be a way to get out of stuff. That's all. Dude, he's literally the knight, dude. I can't see anything. Yeah, it's greed. It's greed in companies, within the investor aspects of it. Not even necessarily within the company itself, I don't think, because a lot of them are just trying to, exist. But if you have an aspect of the company that falls into greed, let's see here. So meeting as a consultant was over battlefield. One of the directors had a genius idea. God, he said, what if in the middle of the campaign where the player is, most we charge $1 for each reload? That's right. That is insane. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you something what people aren't going to like to hear. Do you want to know how we get out of a systemic problem? There's only one way to do it. And that is that we vote with our wallets. That's the only way out of this, everybody. I'd love to be able to enforce moral character and leadership. The problem is that it always devolves to greed and money because of how important money has been made in our society for stuff like here's Siege going up on his freaking soapbox again. God, what a self-righteous prick I am. Anyway, let me preface it that way. But, there's that part in Fight Club where it talks about a lot of the greed that we have from people, especially like people that are greedy and are going for it, is them needing more to buy shit they don't need. You don't need half the crap that these millionaires and billionaires even go out and get. You don't need it. And if there wasn't such a desire for all this materialistic crap everywhere, then there wouldn't be a need to have so much additional freaking money. But there's just junk everywhere that people want to flex with, be it, $500,000 cars that, like, what does a $1 million car do that a $60,000 car does not, other than look good? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's this desire to have so much crap has now gotten us to a point where the people who are making the decisions for companies and whatnot, right? They're not worried about the consumer anymore. What they're worried about is, okay, how do I compete with my buddy over here who just bought the new Mercedes? Oh, I know. Here, I'll put in some stuff into my game that'll generate us more revenue and thus make me look better, amongst my peers, and maybe get me a raise so that I can buy more junk. And then, you have the person who's above that person who sits there and looks and says, oh, okay, wait. But if we do this, this might get us mad, get the people that are with us mad, because this is kind of underhanded. But then, like, the investor person is above him. It's like, well, you have to make for this quarter's profit. You have to make X amount, or jobs are going to start falling. You need to make this. So then you have a situation where, okay, I got to make this much money because my investors say that this is the thing I have to hit in order to keep my job, because I have a $6,000 a month mortgage that I have kids, and I have this, and okay, well, I can't not do this, and I can't make a stand here and say, no, I'm not doing this, because then I'll just get fired, and then I don't have any money for the mortgage that I've already accumulated. So I gotta go with what they're saying, because I can't lose my job now. I don't know if I'm gonna get another job. And they put you into situations where you're forced to make the shitty call. Someone needs to make a video about the link between corpus and companies before it's too late. And there it is. As it says, I'm an artist. I won Best Art Director in the Game Award twice, and I hate these people. I'm the same way. And just so you all know, that thought process permeates way outside the gaming industry. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. It's just this idea that you got to have more, that every quarter you got to be profitable. Why? Why do you have to be profitable additionally profitable every quarter, like make new profit? Why can't last quarter's profit be enough? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there shouldn't need to be an increase every single quarter, but yet that is how almost every boardroom meeting, especially going over quarterly numbers and trying to figure out where you're going to go, unless the company is already in some kind of dire straits that they're kind of like fighting their way out of. But at that point, they're already looking for new investors to come in, and then those investors are going to have their own set of things that they're going to lay down and say, okay, yeah, you can have this money, but you're going to do this, and you're going to have to do that, and you're going to do this. So the feeling of stuff getting stuff does feel good, but at the same time, at what cost? There you go, T-Mister. That's the etymology of mortgage right there. Read that. There's another thing, Ray. So there it is, right there. Then you have why? Right around I do believe it was in the 1980s and leading into the 90s. This is when we started to see the gap between the CEO of a company and its general, like its base person, start to balloon, where it was like 100% more, then it was like 10,000% more, and 100,000% more, and it was just all this additional money that look at Pete Parsons is as good as what you need right there. Yeah, and Garber, you're right. It's what do you do? Because that's exactly right. If the investors see any line go down, they're just going to pull their cash. They don't care. They don't care about your company. They care about making money off of it. So yeah, you need them right now to get that investment. You got to have it, because otherwise you might not be able to pay the bills. You might not be able to pay your people in order to create the next thing that you have to have in order for the revenue stream to keep coming. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you get put into these situations, like you see all these things all the time of like executives getting, in trouble for doing all kinds of underhanded stuff. And like, the story sometimes isn't necessarily that these executives are even the worst people in the world. It's just that they have their own life that they've established, and now, investor A comes in and says, we got to have, you're going to need 15% every quarter on my investment, or I'm pulling out. And it's like, maybe that was the only investor that actually took an interest in what you were trying to do for whatever reason. So then you're locked into that. So here you come in and you have to have your 15% extra. Well, what are you going to do? This is when we get into the whole, now we have to start towing that line. Where can we do underhanded stuff that's not going to piss off the player base, but it's going to get us the scratch that we need to make our investors happy? Oh man, long one. There's the whole stop killing games things. Like, I've been saying this for years, and it's one of the things I advocate, and I will advocate it to all of you right now, because you still have the opportunity. If you can, try to get at least some stuff, old movies and things you desire, on CD now. And also get yourself a unit that can play it. because I just don't see a future where we don't go away from physical media altogether. Only because it's just way more profitable for these people. They can just turn shit off when they want, and they know it. And so I do not see a time that we're going to go back to physical media. This Stop Killing Games thing, yeah, that's great, but they'll figure out something else. They'll figure out another way to screw us over. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Well, Coach, the good thing is I'm going to tell you some stuff. That's what I brought this up at the very beginning of the stream, and I'm bringing up to you now. If you are a Warframe player on the regular, what you need to understand is you are playing in one of the last bastions of what I would consider the true player dev contract, where the developers and the players themselves seem to be intimately involved together in making the game go. And it has allowed the investors to keep their fingers off of stuff. Because that's the one thing. Understand that if Warframe is in trouble, a lot of these things, a lot of these creature comforts that we have with being able to enjoy so much story and, you know, so much great music and stuff like that, it's all predicated on a very fine balance that we as the players are holding. If we don't keep the game going and, you know, and doing our thing, you know, enjoying it and whatnot, if it gets to a certain point, Warframe 2 will suffer the same fate as all these other companies. So, you know, if you play Warframe a lot and you can, you know, support the game in any way, I know I do, and I advocate for it. I think that it's a very healthy game. I think it's a very healthy environment, even though there are obviously we have our people within the community that everybody has, that there's, you know, there's different belief structures and whatnot, and there's different little rifts that we have as a community, yes, just like every other one has. But in the grand scheme of things, we have an overwhelmingly harmonious group of people who play and people who make the game. And that is something that is incredibly rare. So if you are part of it now, or if you've ever been a part of it, you should just consider that you were a part of something special, and you are a part of something very special that transcends just the idea of playing a video game. Oh, Aston says here, let's see. Found out one of the most prominent assets on Demand Studios in the world they have done for their art of GTA 336. Wait, I'm not reading this wrong. I'm going to add a game mod into the online game that you get in the premium currency when you win. I could see that one. We just found out one of the most prominent assets on Demand Studios in the world. They have done art of GTA 336, Assassin's Creeds, Destinies, and lots of other games were torturing their workers, physical, with all that bullshit grind and having, it's one thing. Look, oh, Donald, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you joined. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. I do really see a connection between Soulframe and Warframe. I actually think that's why. That's one of the reasons why the naming conventions are so. Coat. Now, remember what I said, and this is very important. I want everybody to understand this. If you can support, then support. You don't have to support, right? If you cannot afford it, you have other important things in your life that you need. That's why Warframe exists. Warframe's your game. Because there's a game out there that you can play for free that's freaking awesome that you never have to worry about. Like every update, free, 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 free. What I'm saying is if you're one of the people like myself who has a couple extra dollars periodically, right? That, you know, that you, you know, can give back to DE a little bit here and there, I just don't see a problem with that, right? Pitgill, we all know why you got Valkyrie Heirloom, and we agree. That's true. It is something special. Mm-hmm. I also really recommend checking out EVE Online. They admit themselves it's not for everyone. Free expansions, community, and EveCon. There you go. Well, again, that's important. But remember, Warframe's your game. If you don't have the cash, Warframe's your game. If you do have the cash, Warframe's your game. If you can contribute, that's all I'm saying. If you got some expendable, you know, especially if you've never and you know you've played the game a long time. Like I know, like that's what I've said, and I'm not. This isn't like me trying to bully anybody into doing it. If you don't have the cash, do not spend your money. But you know, every bit of platinum I've ever had, I've never gotten any platinum through the market. It's all purchased because I just love this game. I love what the developers are doing. And if I get a little bit of extra cash where I can throw them a bone, I do it. It's for the lore, I swear. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's see, if I might share something. I've struggled with anxiety condition. I value the people who, when I've struggled, have been there for me and just let me talk it out and listening. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're not very good listeners these days. We're all good talkers, right? But if we're getting ultimates, like the transformations, I don't know, Amelia. That's interesting, though. I mean, I don't know. I personally want to transfer into Hunhullis and take him for a spin. That's me. That's where I'm at with things. Oh, yeah, Caliban Prime's on the way. Oh, like I said, please, anybody I hope I didn't make anybody feel like they had to contribute to Warframe. I'm saying if you can. I'm just saying if you can. You know, Excalibur's code Super Saiyan. They're required to hit themselves in video. Oh my God, what? So Aston, I don't know that I can. I don't necessarily know if I want to read that on stream just for the obvious implications of it. But what Aston is essentially telling me is that some of these things that are going on maybe even approach levels of uncomfortableness or even worse when it comes to trying to get people to do what they need to get done. I know, I can't wait to get a little... the only, like I said it earlier in the stream, though, I just... that ultimate is like meant to kill an Eidolon. I feel bad for all the Grineer that I'm going to use that on in this little tiny corridor in Uranus, you know? Oh my God, Aston, triggering. That would be even worse than triggering. That would be incredibly, just straight up traumatic. Just that stuff you don't ever recover from certain things, and that would be one of them. Right? I can't wait to see what the other ones are going to be. You know? Like, I'm hoping... I don't know, like Matter-Eye has some real potential interesting implications. Like it could be just an all-out just damage force. Oh, I don't think Aaron, I know that you didn't upset me. I don't I think we can all talk about stuff here, you know, our own personal experiences and whatnot. Give me my Nairmon power pole. The Witch King of Edidom. Isn't a name? I kind of like that. Big Sword Ultimate. No, but I think at the end of the day, everybody, I don't know, Dark Shotgun. What I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you something. Like what I'm saying is just don't hold the dialogue that you saw in the trailer, in the demo, as 100% certain for the actual quest itself. I learned that lesson. I've learned that lesson now. You got me. You got me once. You maybe got me twice, but I'm on to you this time, buddy. That is true, Soulblade. Warframe's story is about love and acceptance in the grand scheme of things. It really is. And working together with different backgrounds on little trust. We could all probably, I feel like we could all take a lesson. Warframe's got a wonderful story, right? Meliodas, I think we might finally get the thing I've been dying to see, and that's the connection between Entrati and Harrow. And God, man, tell me I'm not the only person here. Who wants to see Rel? Come on, man. Who wants to see Rel? I want to see Rel. I want to see Rel. Especially because obviously this Harrow thing, this Zata, or the Heretic of Zata, because I would assume that Harrow is going to turn into the Harrow. So an aspect of this is going to have to be in the past, I would assume, right? Or at least it would be drummed up from the past, kind of like the proto-frames in 1999. And I wonder if somehow we're going to, because, technically we'd be in the quote-unquote past, right? If we see Garmy either, I'd be okay. But give me my Rel, man. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time for Rel. It's time. The real one, not the man on the wall Rel. I want to talk. I need to speak to him. I need to speak to him or Garmy. I have questions. I got tons of questions for this man, right? How many days until December? It's a lot of days, unfortunately. That Wisp Proto looks great, too. And plus, you have a Dark Nun and a Dark Priest. Come on. You know where this is headed. Aston, I'm the Witch King of Edidom. I like that. And a god who eats a god in the beginning of the story. That's a good way to start it. Well, let me, we want to hug you back. And yeah, we're wondering, too. But we are hoping that you feel a little bit better. And I hope everybody feels a little bit better with the stream this evening. Did you enjoy yourself this evening? Did you enjoy the stream? Raze, you actually get a couple things right there. You're on it. You're on it. I've seen your skills. Maybe Rel speaks to a Matthew. Ooh. Yeah, we are getting a mushroom frame, too, the spore frame. That's what I was thinking. Like, that's when they said that, I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But yeah, Eleanor's got some competition. Shh, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Shut down. She's not watching the stream. Eleanor's not watching. Notice we're outside of the back rooms when I talk about this. Shh. Yeah, we're going to get a dinosaur frame, too, at some point. That's going to be cool. It's kind of like a dino bot almost. Remember when Optimus Prime rode that thing in? Yes, the Nun is Wisp's proto-frame, but Eleanor has a dread fascination with nuns. I'm just wondering if they're going to talk. It's psilocybin frame. Hey, Roy Boyle. Hello. I'm taking artist frame. But everybody, with that being said, I didn't do anything yet, not say 66. I'm just talking. We're just talking in generalities. We're just talking in generalities. That's all. Just generalities. It's just generalities. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Oh, wouldn't that be cool, Vikram? If we could like put 5 Warframes together and Voltron that shit, or the Megazord, I guess would be what people. I know Voltron because I'm old as hell. That's my robots that came together. But I know Megazord's probably more. That's Dark Shotgun. You're probably right, man. Well, anything worth doing is worth doing right. I hope we get some new. I think we're gonna get Holy God forgives. I'm thinking we're gonna get a bunch of good lore on this old Tau. It's probably gonna come in stuff that we're gonna find in the area. You know, that seems to be where DE likes to be headed for with the deep lore, if you will. Hero Mid-Drift Power Tennos. Coming soon. Yeah. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. All right, everybody. Well, unfortunately, I have to go and get the dinner ready. But I do want to thank you all very much for joining me here today. And as I mentioned before, I hope you enjoyed the stream. But with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day today. A wonderful rest of your week if I don't speak with you. And I'll talk at you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.